Welcome to Alchemize Yourself Tarot. You're dealing with somebody here. They may be acting cool as a cucumber, but this person is a total mess. When it comes to their intentions regarding you, this person is walling themselves in when it comes to the unpleasant truths about being in a commitment. This is probably going to be resonating for those of you who have been dealing with somebody that's been through a long-term commitment already, and they have false beliefs and realities in regards to commitment. So either they're going through a big breakup, have been through a recent breakup, need to break up with somebody, but because the Tower represents the false reality that needs to be removed. It's a breakdown of the ego's reality in regards to marriage and commitment and contracts. The property, the image. It's like they want the image of a commitment without the day-to-day reality of it. They like what commitment brings into their life. It's like they want a new opportunity to build, but they are needing to allow their pride about commitment to crumble. And many of the people or you that are going through this, they literally realize they have to break up their vows, their commitments, contracts. The ring can even represent a contract that this person's in. Yet they cannot rebuild a life with you until this belief or reality is removed. And you get this. A lot of people fear commitment. They pull away, they block, and they push people away because they don't want to be anchored down. They don't want to lose themselves again in a new relationship. So it's about the literal and the ideological views about commitment and what it means. And I feel like you coming into their life has triggered all of this. So like even if they've already been through a breakup, it's like they're being heavily triggered with that Tower, because it's like they don't necessarily want you to get away, but they're also not very emotionally available. This person could really feel shut down and numb when it comes to just the day-to-day reality of being in a relationship. So they may have closed off recently. Many of you are currently going through this, where either a discussion about commitment or like a sudden fear of seeing you as commitment material. It's like they're realizing that they're not emotionally available to actually give you what you want, to actually give that to you. But it's like they feel tied down to their past, but they also fear you getting away, right? It's like you don't want a new person, someone that you see potential with, to get away. You don't want the new person that you want to build with, because this person really values their security. King of Pentacles with the lilies, King of Swords. This is somebody that is very deliberate about who they commit themselves to. This is someone that takes commitment very seriously, actually. They are not, they don't over romanticize it. It's not commitment from a romantic point of view. This person is viewing commitment from a very material point of view. So in that sense, it's really good because they do overthink this. They do tend to have analysis paralysis and blockages when it comes to moving forward and building or just getting to know somebody. So if this is a new relationship, they may close off as they get to know somebody because they start to get triggered if they start to develop feelings. This person also views love as transactional. And that's something that the ego needs to collapse. That ideology of marriage, commitment, or love being a transactional thing. Because if they start investing in you, they fear it's going to repeat a pattern like in their old relationship or commitment. They have fears. And they may have actually suppressed this. A lot of times people that fear commitment, they actually suppress the root cause of why they fear. Because it's like, this is a fear of losing your freedom, right? This person views relationship as a prison, or it blocks their freedom. It doesn't they don't feel liberated through love. They feel blocked by love, right? Because I'm getting definitely a very toxic connection, heartbreak. And, the material world, the devil Capricorn can represent, all those investments in a relationship. But what this person could end up doing in regards to you is they'll shut down, and it may get you in your head. You may start to feel blocked. You may be waiting for this person to validate something, but this is why they're not wanting to validate it. For some of you, they're actually still married. But I feel like it goes deeper than that. I feel like it's more of this realization that if you don't lock something down, you can lose it. But if you get locked down, you get locked down, sort of thing. It's like they like the comforts of being in relationship and partnership. I'm getting that this person definitely was in some sort of transactional dynamic where there weren't very many emotions left, but a lot of anxiety and fear. A lot of, not just fear would be more anxieties around keeping the other person there, keeping them happy, feeling stuck. Like all the day-to-day anxieties of being in that commitment and feeling trapped there. Because, traditional commitments and marriages were based on transaction. In modern times, we've started to associate love with commitment. But the system was actually built as a contract materially. And this person understands that. They understand that that's what commitment actually is it's a partnership, it's a contract. It wasn't so much based on feeling or emotion. So it's like this person takes commitment so seriously that they've actually shut themselves down to maybe even being open to love and generosity with you, because it's like they want to build, okay? They want security first and foremost. This person's actually very strategic and very, I wouldn't even say rational. I feel like they've almost become a little irrational when it comes to it. But it's like they try to think of it very logically, what a commitment means. So even if you make this person happy with the Sun, it's like they have this shadow aspect, and they don't see commitments as being, two people being interdependent, or, just enjoying one another's company and enjoying that sort of emotional bond or partnership. They see it as like being on lockdown. And in many ways it is. Traditional marriage is a lot like that. It is more about resources and transaction and, keeping the peace. But a lot of times when you keep the peace in a relationship, you start to self-abandon. You start to feel trapped. You can't just be your authentic self anymore. And it's like you like the material benefit of the relationship, but as far as the emotional and mental well-being, it's just not there. So yeah, if you're experiencing this, it's very important for you to not, place a lot of expectations, because I feel like the more and more you want validation from this person, the more they're going to block it. They're going to end up blocking it. And you have to choose from your point of view. If you're dealing with somebody like this, you're going to have to be able to walk away, because you can't. This person could be very stubborn. It's Mars, it's Earth, it's rigid. You're going to have to be willing to let this person sit in it, basically. And if you're coming into the dynamic expecting transaction and like equal exchange, or maybe even this person rescuing, I think that would put a lot of pressure on them, because it's kind of like they like being in that position to provide and be the protector, but it causes that shadow to rear its ugly head. It's going to trigger that, because they're like, oh, well, that's what their ex did, right? They would feel guilt if they didn't provide something or keep somebody happy. And see, that's the problem with transactional, or even just commitments in general, is happiness relying on the other person. They are only happy if you're happy, and vice versa. And it all becomes about self-abandoning in order to make the other person happy or the other person comfortable. Where, spiritually, when you elevate or when you move kind of beyond those dynamics, you don't expect your partner to bring you happiness. So that could be an area where they need to evolve, and maybe even you do, not putting so much expectation on the relationship to bring happiness. Happiness and partnership and then material transaction are two very different things. And like I said, if you end up feeling Eight of Swords, Mountain, if you start feeling blocked in your own movement because of this person, that could keep you stuck in a karmic cycle where you end up being obsessive and hurt by whatever this person's doing. Because then you're gonna wonder why this person isn't giving to you. Why are they shut down? It's not that this person's not generous. It's more about wanting to avoid repeating that dynamic. So sometimes it's best to just leave somebody like this. If you're expecting a lot of reciprocity and generosity, or somebody that's ready to provide or invest in you, this could be a real big ego drop for you, because you're wondering, you're doubting your worth. Well, does this person think I'm worthy of that? No, they think you are worthy of that. They know what that means. This is someone that's very aware of investing in a partner. That's not necessarily what they don't understand. They understand that, but they may not understand your needs because they're still associating the needs and desires and transaction with whatever they just went through. That all has to crumble first. And it can be very confusing. Many of you have been through prior commitments and relationships, and you're coming here for answers. You're trying to understand the dynamics of people that have been through long-term relationships. It's not just, even if you're young, let's say you're dealing with somebody that was in a long-term relationship since high school, and they feel very bonded and committed to their first love, their first partner, and it became almost like an anchor to them. So it doesn't matter what age you are, people, even younger people, have been through this process of getting really heavily entrenched in tradition when it comes to their relationships. And it's like once they get this burst of freedom, they're recognizing the pattern, and then they fear repeating that pattern because they know how it made them feel, to feel tied down. But they also like it too. Some people just are really drawn to long-term commitment. They like security. They like stability. It's like they're torn between liking and enjoying the stability and consistency versus doing their own thing, having freedom. You'll see that, like it's kind of like people that have been in long-term relationships. It's like they'll sow their wild oats a little bit, and then it's like, well, now I want to get back into a commitment, that sort of thing. But then they fear that cycle. And it's not like they don't want a commitment. They like the benefits of a commitment, but they also have shut down their emotions. So many of you may feel this way. You kind of shut down when you think of like the real implications of being in a long-term commitment. It's not all roses and flowers, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of compromise to be in a long-term relationship. It's not all about having sovereignty and autonomy of your own life. You're having to make decisions in partnership. So their current energy is, like even if this person's acting kind of detached and cold, they are going through it. They are definitely going through it. Yeah, they're going through a major transformation, a major evolution of their soul. It's like their soul is awakening. This person's also having to reinvent themselves, right? When you get out of a commitment, you may have met this person while they were kind of reinventing themselves. And they're feeling all this passion and chemistry. Yeah, they may even think that this is lust, that it's not love, right? It's exhilaration, it's explosive. They're feeling reinvigorated. This person may be exploring passion and desire after feeling numb, right? When you get out of a commitment, it's like all of a sudden you're feeling like yourself again. You're feeling alive. You're feeling excited. You're feeling happy. But it can also cause you to be like, wait a second. That lust can quickly turn into an anchor, a blockage, because the anchor can be about stability. You want to anchor and ground yourself, but you also don't necessarily want to feel stuck. So it has like a dual implication to it. because the exhilaration, the passion, the desire is what fuels that metamorphosis, those new feelings. And their intentions is like, yeah, they're stuck, hanged man. They're caught up in, they're feeling very inspired and excited, but they're also, you know, feeling a little disillusioned by commitment, needing to shift their perspective. It's Neptune. It's like they don't want to get caught up in a fantasy. Some of them are getting caught up in a fantasy, and it's, well, with the Nine of Swords, it's like getting them all up in their head. The Nine of Spades. So it's like they're caught up in this, all these new feelings. And what they're wanting, it's like they're wanting you to see them as stable. I think they want you to see them as that King of Pentacles, King of Swords, the lilies, somebody stable. They want you to see them that way, but they're not feeling that way. They're actually feeling really stirred up, transformed. They're feeling destabilized with the Tower. But it's like they want you to respect them. They want you to see them as being capable of being a provider and being a solid person. But they may not show up that way. You know, yeah, fine wine. The good stuff, transformed, aging well. Yeah, it's like they want you to see them as mature, stable, they have a legacy. What they want from you, they also want to take their time with you. They want the good stuff after all the upheaval. They want the good part of just enjoying a relationship, having fun, transformed. They want you to see the transformed version of them, but they're actually currently going through that. So they like, you may make this person feel like they're on top of the world, but then they make you feel trapped, or they make you feel unworthy. They could actually mirror back. It's like if they withhold or get secretive or closed off with you, they might actually have the opposite effect on you. And that's the problem. That's when you have to evaluate whether or not you want to be with this person. It's not that they're a bad person. They're just going through that transformation. And they won't give, right? They're not wanting to be vulnerable. They're not wanting to tell you how they feel. They're not wanting to tell you about their past. They want you to see them now, not based on who they were in the past. And nobody does. Nobody wants to talk about how messy they were in our past relationship. I mean, nobody wants to talk about that. It's like they may even want to just kind of gloss over that part. Yeah, they won't communicate this to you. They're not going to communicate how they truly feel. They may even shut down communication out of nowhere. Ghost or block. Because it's like once they have that explosive passion and they create a fantasy, they don't want to go back to disillusionment of reality. It's like they don't want to go back to the reality. They like the ego part of it. And this is just this is human nature. This is not judgment. We all do this. But it creates feeling really blocked, and that feeling of being blocked or stuck because the fantasy is, the reality is not living up to that fantasy. Yeah, whip, arguments, fighting. This person could have Mars. They could actually create some drama. keep you kind of, it's like they want to control you because they don't want to necessarily commit or be like that with you, like transactional or traditional. They may try to create power dynamics with you. So be very careful. That could be psychologically, emotionally abusive. I don't want to necessarily go that route. But yeah, they might want to control you through your mind, your emotions, right? Don't allow this person to get you to be reactive, because it's like they want to keep that passion stirred up, and they know the only way to keep you stuck is to get up in your head. So instead of giving you commitment, they're going to give you this, right? They're going to keep you from getting away by luring you into that toxicity. That's for some of you. That could be their tactic. And I surely hope for you guys that doesn't become their tactic if it hasn't already. Because they're getting that benefit. King of Pentacles with the lilies and the wine, they're getting that benefit from being with you or in your presence. They get the energy of feeling on top of the world while keeping you down. So they're on top of the mountain, and then they're keeping you stuck down below because they're not offering you what they gave before with that other person. And it could be very passionate, very fiery, but it creates a lot of self-doubt and confusion. And it is an abusive tactic. Like that dread game, not wanting to lose them, even though they're not giving or communicating or showing you any feeling or emotion. That can be very invalidating, right? Or it makes you question yourself, so you kind of cling to that validation from that person, because it's like they want you to put them on the pedestal, so they can kind of keep this chemistry going, the intensity. They like the intensity of the relationship. Wow. So many of you are going to have to choose to set yourself free. You can't play into this this person's very strategic. They know what they're doing. And they may even repeat this. This is somebody that could even have lovers, or it's like they like that dynamic of keeping things fresh and exciting, but it's not healed or transformed. It's keeping them on the pedestal. And you may have even felt this pretty early on in the relationship, like you start to elevate them, maybe downplay your worth a little bit, placate them, because it's a very powerful energy, especially if somebody is financially established and they appear to be stable and doing well for themselves. You could maybe even put them on a pedestal a little bit, because you're expecting that eventually they'll want to commit. So they keep you waiting. They keep you suspended in time, right? In a state of suspense. And they like that. They feed off of that. Yeah, epiphany, revelation, enlightenment, answered questions. So yeah, it's like you're having this, but yeah, soulmate. And see, they're playing this out with a soulmate coming home. Somebody that compliments them. So it's like the relationship feels really good. So it's like, why is it so bad if it feels so good? This is why. This person knows. They know what they're feeling with you. And you know what you're feeling with them. And it's like that light bulb is that tower. They realize that. And it's like, well, how do they keep you in their life while everything's crumbling from their past. You know? You really compliment, and that's what's so confusing. You're actually very compatible, but it's like, why are they trying to trigger me? Why are they pissing me off? Like, it's like they're trying to get a reaction out of you, or they're trying to take you off the pedestal. That's what it is. They know who you are and how you make them feel, but it's like they want to pull you off that pedestal by withholding commitment, communication, gifts, generosity. They want to withhold that to keep themselves on the pedestal, even though you're actually meant to be equal, right? And it's like maybe you're mirroring each other. You trigger their insecurities, they trigger your insecurities about worth and value, because they're having issues with their worth and value. You're going to be feeling issues with your worth, like your worth and value, and it just kind of goes back and forth. Or when you feel really good and stable, it's like you'll kind of, or sometimes mirroring will have like the opposite reflection. They're feeling really worthy and valuable while you're feeling blocked or all up in your head. Vulnerability. Open your heart, allow yourself to be tender. All comes back to being open and vulnerable. And they also, this person might have like a rescuer, savior, victim, rescuer, savior kind of dynamic. I probably got that all backwards, but you know what I mean. They might like the passion, that comes after the victimization and rescuing. People really feed on that. They like seeing you vulnerable, clinging, begging, like wanting them back. That's how they feel good, because they can be in that protector energy when you're feeling vulnerable. Transparency, needing to be honest, authentic, genuine, and present. You need to stay transparent. You need to stay very authentic and honest. Be genuine. Don't play into this person's little mind games. They're testing you. They're testing you. They're seeing if you're going to fall into that pattern, and they may lose you in the process. Because many of you, if you're spiritually awakened, you're going to kind of see through these toxic, egoic patterns. It's like if you continue to be transparent and vulnerable, this person can let down their guard. They can start to feel safe, that you're not trying to entrap them. This person may think you're trying to entrap them. So then they entrap you. Yeah, divination, prophecy. That's why you're coming here for divination. You're wanting answers. Because Soul Cage rescue, what's funny is they want to rescue you, but you're actually rescuing them. They're needing escape from captivity and restriction. You're actually the rescuer. But they want to be, it's like you're rescuing each other. That's interesting. That's an interesting dynamic, but it's all about that transaction, reciprocity, being receptive, giving and receiving. They want to rescue you, but you're actually rescuing them, because it's triggering like that soul evolution, that soulmate energy. You do need to keep going. Don't allow this person to create blockages for you. And, you know, you need to really evaluate whether or not you want to be in a dynamic like that, whether or not this person can evolve out of some of that ego-based thinking. And some of you will have to leave a connection. If it becomes toxic or narcissistic, obviously, you're going to have to use discernment on your specific situation, right? Because there's different levels of this. There's the, basic, power dynamics that play out, but then you have like full-blown dark triad type stuff. That's like on another level. Most people kind of land in between that, depending on how much ego needs to crumble. So I will leave you there. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I wish you the best of luck as you go through this relationship dynamic. Bye.